Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 34, Essendon Draft Chats. So we're going to talk about the Bombers today. So let's get right into it. I did make a few predictions that the Bombers should do in the trade chats. I did mention a few. I'm going to talk about the players they got, the players they could have got and should have got, and the roles that they didn't fill. So let's get on with it. Pick 9, Silvin Roby. Pick 10, Jacob Faroh. Pick 13, Dyson Sharp. Pick 36, Max Kundanas. Pick 53, Hussein El-Aka. So that rounds out the players that Essendon got. So let's start with Mr. Roby. So he's obviously a big-bodied midfielder who had quite a growth spurt throughout his draft year, which pushed him up the draft ladder. So yeah, standing at 192 centimetres, he's a forward/midfielder. So started off as a half forward, had the growth spurt and ended up putting a bit more size on his frame and height, and moved into a midfield/forward role. He's a powerful, physical, imposing midfielder/forward who hits hard and can impact the scoreboard. So, yeah, AFL recruiters don't miss a real lot. But they didn't see this guy till later to the season and seeing his ability. So, he obviously had the great burst late into this season, but he was under potential wraps after he began to tear up the Coates Talent League after originally being cut by the Dandenong Stingrays at under 16 level, which he had a growth spurt, as I mentioned, and he rose up the local scene to put him on the map. After starting the season in Roeville's side, Roby progressed to play 5 senior games in the EFNL, before the Eastern Rangers snapped him up, which he debuted in round 12, June 21st. It began to be an incredible rise for him as the 18-year-old kicked 18 goals in 19 games for the Coates Talent League, which the appearances en route to becoming a premiership player. He even saved his personal best 4 majors for the flag decider. His grand final appearance and performance was one of the many defining moments in his season. He well and truly caught the attention of the wider recruiters by bagging 3 goals and 40 disposal in an Eastern's wild card round of the thumping of the Westerns. So he was duly earned an invite to the state combine, and he ended up being promoted to the national combine alongside teammate Oscar Taylor. Such interest with him, all despite playing this season with a cracked collarbone. So obviously has a bit of toughness. I respect that. I think that's quite admirable, playing with an injury and getting through and doing a performance like that in a grand final. It shows he's got some toughness. So we'll talk about his key strengths. He has clean hands, his mobility, physicality, power, scoreboard impact, and his size. His improvements, decision making and exposure. So obviously didn't play state level. Quite a tremendous player to get in the top 10 and not play any state football, because state football obviously is the highest level, and it's faster, quicker, stronger. It's the best of the best, essentially. Not to say that the Cokes League or the SANFL under 18 is not a good way to look at and can scout talent from them. And some players are unlucky to not make it into the state team. I have no doubt about that. And I think it's really respectable that this guy made it that high up the draft. So you should be really proud of that, mate. I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for the competition for a guy to rise up the ranks like that and get there. But there are also a lot of players that should have went higher as well. But that's a story for another day. But that's not to take away credit from this guy. He deserves it. So his physical attributes, his size, his power, general and weapons. At 192 centimetres, leading high impact style both in the midfield and up forward. He has the frame and the aerial presence to be a lead-up target, but also clean enough below his knees and mobile enough to do the midfield duties of that's desired to be a gun midfielder. That kind of dual position is hard to come by, as it plays into why he is so important and highly sought after. So he plays a dual sort of role. Maybe being shorter and learning that half-forward craft's given him, that's probably been a good thing long-term for his development. And also getting into the midfield and being an in and under midfielder is very important, and it's a great trait to have. So Roby began the Eastern Rangers campaign as a forward. His presence with the lead-up was noticeable, hitting up the full-chested outside attacking 50 and chopping out deep to hit the scoreboard. He kicked goals in all bar one of his 9 Coates Talent League appearances, bagging multiple goals, and also had a high 4 in the grand final. Much of that was down to his clinical finishing and his ability to have powerful kicking, also providing to be accurate with a record of 18 goals and 2 behinds. So that's highly accurate, very accurate, and that's the question would be, how would he go up in higher leagues when the pressure's on? But those sort of stats indicate to me that he would do still quite well, and that's one reason why he's risen up in draft stocks. Moved to midfield truly unlocked his potential. He continued to thrive up forward, but also rack up the ball in the midfield, and showed his ability to hit the contest in and under, out with the handball. But he also showed that he's a high volume clearance winner and difficult to contain with the power and explosiveness, and also on the defense end. He takes no prisoners as he hits incredibly hard, applying intense pressure, closing speed that makes the opposition panic. So sheer size, good ability to have close down speed. He's mobile. So yeah, he also has the ability to follow up and roam the ground efficiently. Despite his size and physical appearance, he racked up 68% of his possessions as uncontested. So he's able to get on the outside, link up with the play. 2 facets of the game that's really good. Obviously, it's great to have an inside trait, but for him to link up with the play on the outside, be that type of player, to add that to his bow is quite impressive. So he also has the ability to have kicking power to break the opposition zones and send the long balls over the back, as much as it was evident in the preliminary final, where he assisted Oliver Greaves several times in his 4-goal burst. That side of Roby's development was particularly pleasing late in the year. He took some time to adapt to the speed of the Coates Talent League. So yeah, he struggled a little bit adapting to the speed, but seems like by the end of after a few games and by the end of the season, he learnt really quick and developed his game, which is a good indicator that he can develop into a faster game with time. And he didn't have much time. Obviously, the draft wasn't too long. It was obviously at the end of the season, so he got going. So it's quite impressive to develop on the fly like that. He has dangerous goal kicking, field kicking, and launching the ball inside the 50 or looking for a sharp defensive inbound kicks up the field. So, yeah, Roby could be excused for not testing himself at the national draft, but having played out the season with a cracked collarbone. And that kind of experience built up some resilience, and also to his athletic ability, he still had the factor that he was in the window for the draft, and had that, although the lack of exposure was only a small sample size of what clubs had to work off. So Essendon seen him quite high on the draft. That was the first pick that they used, and he landed in the top 10, so quite impressive. With Richmond going for the players they went for, they were quite, worried that he may have went that early, so could even been higher up the draft, but didn't quite work out that way with Richmond going with Cumming. So that covers him quite well. I'm surprised that, in all fairness, I'm surprised that Dyson Sharp didn't go before him, and we'll also talk about the next player. Not to say that he's not a player that deserves to be there. That's quite obvious, and that's what's happened. But I also said Dyson Sharp should be the number one pick, so we'll get to him in a second, because we need to respect these players that have gone in the draft, and that's just the order and how it's gone. So Jacob Faroh, arguably WA's best talent in the draft. The defender / midfielder, standing at 187 centimetres. The leading prospect out of WA is a big-bodied halfback with the running power and a booming left foot, for the potential to be a good inside midfielder. He was one of Western Australia's best talent, starting the season on fire with back-to-back 27 games disposals in the Waffle Colts, having been overlooked for the summer program. Faroh's form across the halfback saw him storm into the under-18s competition. I respect that. They didn't see him being a player that was going to play state, and much like Roby before, if you're a young lad and you're thinking you're not going to make it, but you put that hard work in, and put that, if the only person if you're not putting the hard work in and you're cheating is yourself. So these guys put that hard work in. They got right up into the top 10 of the draft. That They didn't even have him in the state program. So that to me says a great ability to develop his game, along with the hard work, determination, and good attitude. So that to me is very powerful, mate, and congratulations. So you should be proud. And it's, if you keep working harder like that at AFL level, I'd have no doubt you're going to be a great player. So I really like those stories. So yeah, he's a smooth moving type player with a lethal left foot. He leapfrogged many other contenders to put himself in the primary midfield rotations for WA, which they weren't too bad this year. Obviously, Vic Country and the undefeated South Australian team was better, but he was arguably the best talent in their side. He has the ability to break the game wide open with his kicking. Faroh has drawn many comparisons to Hayden Young and Jordan Dawson. So Jordan Dawson, the Adelaide Crows skipper, moved over from Sydney. Primarily played a half-back role. Now he's arguably one of the best AFL midfielders in the competition. Hayden Young, very similar. Fremantle's one of Fremantle's best players. Had a bit of an injury, interrupted season, just gone. But has a lot of talent and quite similar sort of role. Very clean. Has the ability to good marking, but we'll just talk about Jacob Faroh now, and we'll sort of compare that with the other players because his height and running capabilities give him the scope to move from being a halfback to also an intercepting defender. And also strong inside midfielder. So that's his future position. With the ball, with a bit more time and vision of the field ahead of him, Faroh shows much more confidence and ability to take dangerous kicks and gain the meterage. He's highlighted by his final 2 games of the state under-18s where he led all comers with the meters gained. So that's a valuable asset. One of the most meters gained at state level, highest level that he could sort of play for his age group. And that earned himself to be one of the best WA players. Also had a taste of senior footy this year, playing 3 games in West Perth's league side, peaking with a 22 disposal, 9 mark performance against East Perth before running out the season with the Colts level. There's still clearly plenty of growth for the left foot Faroh. Strong blend of athleticism and skills have fans and recruiters quite excited about the guy. So we'll just talk about his strengths. Agility, obviously being off the halfback, you have good agility, which is good if he's going to be an inside midfielder. If you can blend that in with good agility, watch out. Intercept marking, kicking, power, rebounding, and size. Defensive craft and endurance side, I guess he's a running halfback more than he is. But if he's going to play inside midfielder, he's got to learn to be very defensively minded. The great inside midfielders are great on defense. They like to tackle. They're just straight up mongrel dogs in the middle. They like to just get their hands dirty, and especially at AFL level. Used mostly as a halfback throughout 2025, his raw power and size makes him ideal prospect athletically for his role. His ability to read the play and also intercept marks and create from defensive positions with a great kick on the inbound is what sets him apart from this year's draft crop. He can play loose or tight on an opponent, but still finds himself plenty of footy. So he's got that's what you need. Inside midfield, exactly what you need. So providing an option for teammates when he's under pressure. His ability to use the football clean. And also defensive abilities arguably outshone by the threat he creates with the ball. He leans on his speed and creative ability with the ball, and also to make space and pick out the best option going forward. He's one of the best kicks in the draft over a distance and the ability to carry the football. Faroh has drawn comparisons, as I said, Hayden Young for his powerful and accurate left foot kick. So obviously being in WA, he'd obviously follow a lot of the footballers there, and that's, I guess, who he's modelled his game on. So he's got the ability to have meters gain with the ball, or either getting the ball and making the ability to move on with the ball and use it well. The four Waffles games when he took round 4 of the Waffle Colts game when he took 4 consecutive bounces and ran the ball out of defense through the midfield before delivering the ball inside 50. That same rebounding ability was seen on the national championships against the Allies, where he racked up 29 disposals, 803 meters gained as the main distributor outside of the out of the defense. So 800 meters gained. That's quite impressive, mate. Is damaging inside midfield mould to be players like I've just mentioned with Young and Dawson have a taste of what they are looking to get. and for exciting future. He seemed more comfortable down back as he grew in confidence. He played more in the midfield, having given more time spent. As much of his career, he's been a mid/forward. So there he goes. He must, in his earlier days, played up forward and then moved into the defense. Obviously, with great kicking like that, you do need a good halfback that delivers the ball. So there's not much wrong with his game, but it says here his lack of high level exposure. I mean, how much more higher do you need? So I don't know why they wrote this on his notes. I don't what he's played under 18s. He's played a few league games in the waffle. You can't ask for much more. I disagree with that one. I think, and yeah, I don't know why they've wrote that, but that's just what we found as his stuff. So I've got some of my own notes, and I've got some others that talk about his game. So yeah, I don't really see that. So yeah, I disagree with that one. So yeah, he's seeking improvement in his defensive craft. As more, he needs to work on his lockdown play. Okay, that's fair enough. He's arguably going to not probably be so much of a lockdown inside mid. So, but you need to still have the ability to be defensively minded. So yeah, one at WA's top pick, gone in this draft. So shout out to WA. Shout out to him for making the team after not even starting in the under 18s and training with them. So he had a point to prove. He proved it, and he is now an Essendon player. So well done, mate. Now that gets me to the big one. The MVP of the under 18s championships. The man that I said that should have been number one. And I stand by it. I absolutely... Let me just say this. And I know he'd be over the moon no matter what happened. Because he's an Essendon fan. Dyson Sharp. He's where he wants to play. And there's no doubt about that. I know he'd be a happy man. And that's the most important thing. But also, I'd just like to say that this guy, it is criminal that this man did not go in the top 10. Absolutely criminal. Absolutely. I'll say that. I'll say that till the sun goes down. He is an absolute superstar. I pumped his tyres up so much in the draft stuff that I've done. And there's a reason for it. The MVP of the state under 18s, captain the undefeated team to a win, the best team of the country, the best team in the country. He's the captain. He's the MVP of the whole series. He played SANFL finals, and he didn't go in the top 10. There's like, I know he'd be over the moon. He's at Essendon. That's his favourite team. And I'm happy for him. But how did all the other... You got to steal Essendon too. Absolutely. You got to steal. That is absolute steal. I don't know how you didn't pick him earlier. He should have been your first pick. Easily. Like, I don't know if clubs have done handshake deals. We want this player for this position. You can have that player. Or, like, I think give or take, there's going to be one or two that are certainties, and then just it goes from there. I don't know what deal was done. I know the Crows tried to give up 2 first-round draft picks for the man. We know that's a fact. We know Adelaide wanted him. I don't know why the Adelaide Crows didn't go over the top of using Essendon and give out 2 first-round draft picks to another club that tried it. Maybe they tried that. Maybe. We don't know. We don't know what actually happened. But we know public knowledge that the Crows tried to offer 2 first-round draft picks. Essendon knocked them back. I can see why. As I said, he should have been number one. An absolute stand by that. That if Crows were serious, even offer him 3 because this guy should have been number 1. Kevin Sheen even potentially said he should have been high, like number 1 going into the draft. He should have been a lot higher. Like I don't know what he's publicly said since, but he's obviously a potential to be up there. I still think William Dersma. I'm still happy that he went number 1. I have no but to me, William Dersma and Dyson Sharp are the 2 best talents in the country. Would come in as well. I know he's trained quite well with Richmond. We'll get to that when we get to Richmond, but I'm just really, really focused on this guy. There's no more accolades that I could say. He's a ready-made and consistent midfielder with the prospect to be in the contested possession winner and also on the outside abilities. So Dyson Sharp's list of accolades run as deep as any player in this year's draft. The South Australian was long considered his state's top talent of 2025, capturing at representative level throughout the age. He was the 2-time under-16 All-Australian. So All-Australian under-16s. I know Dersma won the MVP of the under-16s. Dyson Sharp won the MVP of the under-18s. Like, there's absolutely no reason why. You guys got an absolute steal, even if you got him at Roby's pick. And to add those 2 other players in front of, and then still get Dyson Sharp, absolute steal. Absolutely. Like, all those other clubs that picked, let him slide this late, they're going to be like, sorry, I don't know what your recruiter's doing. You got to give South Australia more credit. Absolutely. He followed through to be named skipper of the under-18s this year, along with his MVP and the championship's best and fairest awards in both of the age groups. So, it's no surprise that Sharp is among the well-known prospects in the crop. He stood out at representative stage, dominating his peers like years with unmatched contested craft and absolute determination. He packed up playing all 4 state games as a bottom major to do it in the same in these draft years. So he played obviously as a bottom major the year before, played quite well, and in his draft year, he is the MVP. Shout out to you, mate. You're at your team where you wanted to be, who you went for as a young lad, and grown up as you grown up, that's the team you followed. So I have nothing but respect for that, and you'd be over the moon for that. So he, on top of his big game form, he also gained exposure at senior SANFL grades. He broke through for 5 league games last year after a full preseason of. He kicked off the 2025 season while he built on some confidence back in the under-18s. He finished strongly in the after the championships to be one of Central District's best young players, and also had gained a finals campaign experience for the 2nd year running. This guy's played finals a couple years. It just absolute playing finals against men. It's a hard gig. You could arguably say there's not much gap between, say, an SNFL final series to VFL final series. They're arguably the same sort of speed, talent. There's not much difference. He is one of the South Australian under-18s that made it to SANFL level. I've said that a few times now. I just can't believe that this guy didn't go in the top 5, let alone sliding out the top 10. I'm surprised he didn't go in the top 2. I'll go as far as that. But he slid out of the top 5. All of a sudden, he slipped out the top 10. Just how? His strengths: clean hands, competitiveness, contested game, leadership, strength, tackling. Improvements, kicking. Well, his kicking's still good. I didn't see him make much mistakes. I seen probably Dersman make more mistakes than Sharp did. And yeah, I seen him kick when he wasn't even under pressure. He made some mistakes. Not to say that he's not a bad kick, but there was a couple times he did one or two of those things, and it's improvement that he needs to do. Dyson Sharp's outside game, I don't think needs any improvement. His speed's fine. So I did some of these notes people write. As I mentioned, I write my own, but also I like to grab a massive amount of data and I'll combine it all together. And that's why we're here to talk about it. I think his speed's fine. He plays a bit of that role as like a half forward that uses his speed in the SANFL for centrals. He chops and changes his positions, whether they need him in the middle, on the wing, or on the half forward. I could just remember him running hard in the half forward line and just having the ball come through. He just did a few things that I thought were quite impressive. So have they not been watching this man's game? I just don't get it. His speed's not something that I'm worried at all. That video he just had the other day when he was just Essendon fans were loving it. He had the ball and he was running, bouncing, he was going like the wind. I totally disagree with the speed improvement. So you guys got to watch his game more. But that's why we're here. We're here to say those things. That video just the other day proves it. Absolute gun. He's good at winning the contested ball, utterly dominant at the level at the national championships, averaging 11 contested possessions, 6 clearances, 5 tackles. 5 tackles per game, people. He loves the in and under. Such feats helped him further establish his reputation as the tone-setting, leading by example as captain, state captain. Also central to Sharp's contested nuance, his toughness and ability to face the contest and also absorb the contact is a strength to his ability to adapt to the pressure while distributing the ball. As far as a primary possession winner, few goes as many as effective by him. Also the ability to just use the ball on the outside. He handles the ball clean, and he also stood up the rigours of senior footy. Sharp has become used to playing up the age groups for some time now. So yeah, he's used to playing with older teammates. He was dual under-16 All-Australian, established himself in South Australia's best under-18 side as a bottom major. Further to that, his SANFL league exposure across the last 2 years has been significant. As the experience, he also learnt to grow his game and his versatility, playing when he once walks back into the state league games as a high half forward for Central's league. So as I mentioned, that's what he sort of played. I did notice he did those roles, and to be fair, he reminds me of a very young James Hird. James Hird did that sort of role. So Bomber fans, like, you got yourself another young James Hird. Like, very lucky he didn't go early. I don't know what the other teams are doing. I just don't get it. Really don't get it. Particularly when he cuts through the midfielders and thrusts through the stoppages. It's there where his competitive nature shows, with the 18-year-old exhibiting first-rate intent and effort, which leads him to have leadership qualities because he stands tall. He's proud of his team. He likes the physicality of the game. He has the endurance, the footballing knowledge, and always seems to be eager to impact the game and also impart the leadership onto his teammates. Sharp remains as to be an involving footballer versus the athletic debate. I don't know what they mean by that. He's the type who has a higher floor but arguably lower ceiling than others in the same draft. The likes of Ben Hobbs and Jai Clark are similar stylistic examples. This guy's got James Hird about him, folks. He's got absolute James Hird. That's why we're here. We're here to talk about those notes. We're really... yeah, he's got a lot of James Hird about him, folks. The way the top-level footballer is headed, he leans towards fast transitional play, where the leg speed and foot skills are king to his game. His skill set fits as an outside player also, but has the place in the modern game to help enhance those types of styles. He did well to add weapons to his game this year, hitting the scoreboard at the national championships and improving his ability to accumulate outside possessions. Those areas are still to be enhanced, help growing his ability to hurt the opposition as it stands. He's the type of player who'll be ready to go, helping those around him to shine. Yeah, this guy, just absolute steal. That finishes him off, but I can see why they didn't give the Crows the ability to the ability not to pick him. That's who they wanted. So it's exciting times for the Bombers fans, and this is the guy. This is the type of player that will help rise the Bombers up the ladder. I have no doubt about it. I literally have no doubt about that. He is going to be a player that rises the team up the ladder, and we'll go on to the next player that they've got. We've talked plenty about him now. So absolute steal. Max Kundanas, 190 centimeter tall defender. He's aerially adapt to be an interceptor who takes the game on with speed and precise kicking, and also has the rebounding ability. In a draft class relatively thin on the tall defensive class relatively thin on tall defensive talent, Max has staked his claim throughout the 2025 campaign with Oakley Chargers as the intercepting tricks, and also ticks all the boxes. His position and also established himself at higher levels as a top ager despite an interrupted start to the campaign. He got going early in the Coates Talent League and never looked back, coming off 11 bottom age appearances. So he played with older players as he was younger. He started the year off with 21 disposals, 7 marks in round 3 against Sandringham. His early season and also trial game form led him to be selected in Vic Metro, where he locked away his spot across the full amount of the national championships. So one of Vic Metro's key defenders, even despite suffering a finger injury between games 1 and 2, he also showed his awareness at school football as he was captain of Carey Grammar, and he spent time in the forward lines and at APS level, and a larger sample in representative grades suggests he'll find home in the defense. The draft combine invite yielded a strong showing of his running ability, with the 20-metre sprint at 2.9 seconds and the 2K time trial of 6 minutes and 26 seconds. So obviously Jordan Laverty's replacement. They delisted him. Obviously, And I see this guy coming in and taking that role. So there you go, Essendon. You got that replacement. His aerial ability, kicking, intercept marking, reading of the play, rebounding, and speed. His defensive craft and size needs to work on, but I guess sounds like his defensive craft's pretty good. Size obviously being a key defender. May need to put on hopefully a little bit extra height, get to 193, 194. You can work on that though. You can still play above your size for that size. So yeah, his profile boasts a valuable spread of his traits. He holds up the ball well as the forwards are trying to move the ball into defense. He holds the play up quite well as he reads the play. He fits the mold of a roaming interceptor who can seamlessly turn defense into attack. He can do it all himself as well. The ability to impact aerially and a rangy leap before getting on the move to be the running power and carry for his size. His aerial ability often key to getting the rest of his game going. He reads the play very well and gets to go into position early as he reads the play and the ball coming down the ground. He's comfortable leaving his opponents to intercept. His football IQ stands out there in those situations, as he has the courage to slot into the defensive hole and braces for the oncoming contact. So he's not afraid to do that, put his body on the line. Very good defensive trait. You have to know how to do that to be a good defender, and have the ability and the guts to want to put your body on the line. And so yeah, that kind of really allows him to play slightly taller than his 190 centimeter standing. As I said, if he's not going to be that height, he needs to work and be that player to play above his size. And so that's very important. You can still be 190 and you can still play like a 196 player. There's guys at 196 that probably play like a 192. So your sort of comparison of each player is different. He's capable of producing a daring rebound and run and dash, and he showed the willingness and ability to do that with the back-end season with Oakley and utilising his speed to launch into counter-attacks. His great running and power allowed for more impact up the ground. Not only that, intercepting off the high line, but also carrying the ball in the dangerous areas. His rebounding abilities, kicking, he's often acts as a primary distributor for his size, and also showcases the power and range in his ball use. He's quite accurate in a slow play, takes safe options, but also breaks the lines when needed. His composure in deep inside 50 for defense is quite noticeable for a tall player. Likes to absorb the pressure and use the ball well, which is an important trait to have. He can continue to refine some of his decision making while learning to be more attacking style. Obviously, he's got the ability to do that. His execution on the run and delivered a less consistent end product, so I don't know what they mean by that, but yeah, he should still work reasonably hard. He can also look to enhance his defense fundamentals, becoming stronger in the one-on-one contest and finding a greater balance between attack and defense. So yeah, obviously that lockdown role, that one-on-one play, the ability to just use his body, come from him for a spoil or take that nice mark, because he seems like he's got the ability to run off his play and intercept. Playing at AFL level, you're not going to have the size yet, and he's not going to be able to do that body work and have the space between him and his opponent. His opponent's going to come up next to him. So yeah, he's still quite lean and wiry for his frame, and it's to be expected for his age. But as he steps up to senior level, he still projects himself to be quite a versatile prospect. in the defense while having the potential to swing forward or even using his speed and endurance running on the wing. So could easily play on the wing too. So that wraps him up. I'm quite happy with that. And I'm pretty happy with that. So Jordan Laverty's replacement, whether he plays this year or not, obviously, I think he could, because if you can play multiple roles, even if it's in forward line or the wing, why he builds up that defensive craft, or he just straight starts in defense. I'm not really fussed where he sort of starts, because that's what the club will decide as he develops. To me, he's that Laverty type replacement. And we'll talk about the next player that Essendon got. So let's have a look. Hussein El-Aka. I think he was in the NGA program. And he's a tricky small forward with speed and capabilities to cause problems for the opposition defender. 12 months ago, Essendon supporters were getting excited with the prospects of Isaac Kako and Jordan Newen coming out of their next generation academy onto an AFL list. So he's in the Bachahuli program, I think, as well. Fantastic opportunity to follow in the footsteps, starting a football journey at the Essendon District Football Club. He would move on to Pascoe Vale for the 2021 season and 2023 season. He emerged with 66 goals from 20 under 16 appearances, a feat that would eventually see him step up to the calendar of the Calder Cannons under 16 level and represented Vic Metro at the Diversity Games. Season 2024 saw him even bigger strides with the football, debuting for the Cannons under-18 side, opening round of the Coates League. While we didn't feature in a game again until a few weeks later, he made his debut at senior level for Pascoe Vale and kicked 2 goals. Upon his return, he put on a few strong performances and played in the midfield consistently, and also hit the scoreboard with a 5-goal haul against the Western Jets. The final regular season game where he was considered unlucky not to be featured on the AFL Grand Final day for the under-17, showcasing a solid performance for Vic Metro's futures in August. After missing out on selection in the AFL Academy but being inducted into the Vic Metro's Summer Hub, he would start the 2025 season with a point to prove, managing 10 goals from his opening 3 games. So he got the ability to kick a few goals, which is important for a small forward role, including a 4-goal haul in the first round with the win over Oakley. His momentum was halted by an ankle injury, which virtually kept him out of Ola May, but returned to gain some much-needed fitness with the Essendon VFL team, kicking 3 goals in a loss to Brisbane before the Under-18s Championships. His best performance for Vic Metro came against the Allies, managing 3 majors. The goals would continue to be kicked, including a bag of 6 against Sandringham Dragons and 4 in the wild card round. So he's got, another small forward similar to Isaac Kako. Kicking goals. He's got the ability to kick a few in a game, and that's very important. As I mentioned, he was a part of the Bachahuli Academy. He's drawn comparisons to recent Essendon NGA graduate and players. He took his Guernseys with the 2004 season as Kako, as I mentioned. He also looks up to his cousin, former Essendon and current Carlton player Adam Sard, who played as a small forward in his time with the Calder Cannons. So so that's his cousin. So he's related to Adam Sard. Adam Sard's a good halfback. Arguably Carlton's best halfback, and a good player. So if you can mould his game around him, and it seems like he can kick a few goals, which is impressive. So I think he may even kick more goals than what his cousin did. So a good pickup. So that rounds the players out there, and I will just quickly. Do I have his strengths is forward craft, goal sense, ground balls, physicality, scoreboard impact, speed. Defensive pressure, endurance, and size is what he needs to work on. So yeah, kicked 47 goals in 26 games for the Cannons across a 2-year period. And that's, that covers him quite well. Quite impressed by him. But that wraps up the players Essendon got, the roles that they cover. But let's talk briefly about the roles that Essendon didn't cover, and that's the ruck spot. For those who watched the trade chats, I did mention I was pretty we had the whole Zach Merritt stuff. I understand why they kept him, and that was one thing I sort of talked about. I went from both ways on that, both angles. But the big thing that I was also adamant about was they didn't have a ruckman. They've got injured players at the moment that aren't in the side. So Nick Bryan is injured. They got the ability to obviously play 2-meter Peter in the ruck, but he's a forward. He's not a key ruck. You need to have him up forward too to help Caddy out. So that you shouldn't be taking him into the ruck. So no on that one. Callum Gearin, he's a key forward, not a ruckman. I'm just going through the list now so I can mention who's doing what. Archer May, he's a key forward, not a ruckman, but could do it. But what size is he? Let's have a look quickly. He has 198 centimeters. Okay, he has the ability to do that, but he's named as a key position forward. So that's Liam McMahon, key forward. What's he standing at? He's 100. So you got to look at a few players at that 198 centimeter mark. But with Sam Draper going, Todd Goldstein retiring, you needed a ruckman. You absolutely needed. You could play these other guys in the role, and then you could also have a young guy to develop. Could you have traded a couple of picks, gone up the draft ladder to get Cooper Tyler Duff? I don't know. Should have you got some other players instead of Will Setterfield on the supplementary picks? I have one here. Brian Teakle, 203 centimetre. He's more of a ruck than he is forward. He's 26 years old. Former Port, former North Melbourne, delisted by North Melbourne. You could get him for free. That's one. That's one player right there. So, there was also Kieran Storchin from the Crows that was delisted. Standing at 202 centimetres. He's 30 years old. He's older. Maybe not. He still didn't get a game because obviously Riley O'Brien. That's two players right there. I would have went with Teakle. He did quite well for Adelaide at stages. And here's the other thing. I heard through the training preseason notes, and I've been following some of the stuff from what's being reported. And Ben McKay is rucking him, and Ben McKay is not a ruckman. Okay, he's just not a ruckman. You paid a lot of money for him to be a key defender. That's where he should be. Yeah, you're gonna have rough patches, but let's be honest though. He's always going to be under the pump if your midfield's not getting the ball. Your midfield won't be getting the ball now because you don't have a key ruckman. You got young developing guys. You should Teakle's just get him and give him a chance. Give him the keys. Here's the it doesn't put pressure on the young guys. You should have got a young guy to develop in the draft. And I'm just looking through. Mason Cox is another one. He went to Freo. Freo actually, matter of fact, Freo got another player. Zach Harding. So yeah, he was overlooked in the draft. He earned a trade on spot with the Fremantle Dockers. So I mean, Fremantle literally took 2 tall players that you could have got gone. This guy, this guy did well. He was one of the best ruckmen in the draft, and I'll talk about this. He was a Vic. I believe he was Vic Country. Just looking it up now. I'm pretty sure it was Vic Country. Yeah. So his Vic Country's. So it's second best ruckman in the thing. Like Ian Cooper, Tyler Duff was good too, though. But this guy is in the second best team. So does that make him the second best ruckman? We'll talk about the first team, the undefeated team. Sam Ainsworth didn't even get a sniff at the draft. 198 centimetre, competitive ruckman who's eager also at ground level and strong follow up work with the ruck. He got overlooked in the draft. I talked about, you can check what I said about him in the South Australian draft talent. I mean, just going through this here, he started in defense and moved up into to be a ruckman. This guy is just another player who, why Will Setterfield? If you want to keep him, why? I know you delisted him, you get him cheaper, but I just don't get how you don't give. So you can't get the Freo. Zach Harding's gone to Fremantle. Sam Ainsworth, he's free. He's available. I just don't get it. Give him a gig. Shout out to the SA players. He was, he's got competitiveness, contested marking, follow-up work, rate of improvement, also strength and versatility. He averaged 16 disposals and 4 clearances and 20 hitouts in his 9 under 18s SANFL games. What else do you want the man to do? And he had the ability to move the ball well, kick the ball well in the state under 18s championships at the highest level for him to play. He did really well. I just don't get. I'm just going through his notes quickly, and I'm already at the sort of nearly the hour mark, so don't want to chew up too much more people's times. You could have gave him a gig. You could have gave Tickle a gig. Harding's gone. Mason Cox is gone. I understand maybe not Mason Cox. But yeah, Tickle's 26. This guy's only young. You could have just gave him a spot. I don't know. You could have traded a couple of your late picks to get 3 picks that could have been later to add him in. That's the one spot you need to fix. You can't have Ben McKay rucking. That's a no-no. And I got a soft spot for ruckmans. And that's the Essendon Draft Chats. We covered the roles. We did it all. I still think you did really well. You got what I thought the number 1 pick. You just didn't get a ruckman. That's the only negative. You got Laverty's replacement. Next year, you'll probably be looking for more tool talent. Maybe you'll get the ruckman in the mid-season draft, or add it on if you have an injury, and you can add another supplementary pick. I'm not too sure what they're doing. I know they got Will Setterfield there, but please just look at Ainsworth. Enough said. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.